Like, good Lord, man.
But the conversation takes just as long because you can't breathe and talk when you're running. So they'll be like, yeah, and then
isn't that horrible?
2 days later.
Be your husband. Yeah. Be your husband. The only time you can have a decent conversation is when you're having sex. That's the only thing you want to say.
That's the only time I ever have a decent conversation.
Well, I'm telling you.
The only time my wife and I see each other anymore.
So, Voki, what's your favorite Bob joke? What if you had to write one joke, what would it be?
I would have to go with the stuttering EMT one also. I mean, I just love that joke. Every time I even think about it, it cracks me up.
It's one of my favorites.
And the same thing happened with that joke that happened with me with Steve's joke.
Oh, Jesus.
I had just taken a drink of something, and I was, like, shooting Mountain Dew out of my nose all over the table at Shorty's because I just love that joke. That one, and then the spelling bee, and then the Dave the doorstop.
Oh,
the stump. I just call it the stump joke.
No, you got a lot of good jokes. Even you came out this last time. You were out there in September. We just said that.
Yeah.
And you had the Dave just San Diego'd on me.
Oh God, yeah, that was that's another one. That's a true. Well, that's about. For those of you who haven't, that's about a glitch happening in the San Diego fireworks display last summer. Not this past 4th of July, but the July 4th before that. And they went off at the same time. And you can actually see it on YouTube. It's approximately 17 seconds of a blinding white flash. There's no colors. There's no nothing. Just boom. And that's it. And I was just like, instantly, it dropped into my head because you have people that are almost like professional event goer. You know what I mean? Like they get shit down to a science, man. You know, when you just picture that Uber dad, like it's just like the joke. I mean, you just jamming that family and let's go. Come on, we've got to get the right seats. We've got to get the right snacks. We've got to have all this stuff done. You know, and just like fighting traffic all the way down the coast highway or wherever. I mean, I don't know much about California, but, you know, I mean, just in traffic for hours on end. And, but, you know, finally gets there and gets the absolute perfect spot and everything is fine. And then just, you know, and just like,
Here's a tag for you. Think about this part. Like, it all goes up. It's a blinding light. And every old Japanese person there's like, not the firecracker! Not the firecracker!
That's it. Just hitting the deck. Who was it?
Burn shadow in the wall. Run.
Sean Michael Cummings gave me a tag for that where he's like, you know, just as you're starting to get out of the car, you see that blinding white flash, you just turn around and go, we've lost San Diego, kids. Get back in the car. San Diego's off the grid. We're hitting the liquor store and getting some bottled water. It's just like, go fill up the bathtub. You know, just ridiculous stuff, man.
That's awesome.
It was a great tag. I don't use it because it's just too complicated for me, and I just like mine.
Nice.
But, yeah, no, it was a brilliant tag.
No, that's a great joke.
It's a lot of fun.
Are you working on new stuff right now, you said?
Yes. Yeah. I do have some new stuff. I recently started a new job, so I have a couple from that.
Okay.
What
are you doing now? What job are you doing now?
I work for, I don't know if they'll get mad at me, but I work for Avago Technologies, and we actually imprint circuitry onto silicon wafers for cell phones.
Wow.
Yeah, so we do all the circuitry at our place, and then we ship them to, like, Southeast Asia to be scored and cut and implanted and done all that, packaged and all that shit. I have no idea. I really don't. I'm a grunt, dude. I am literally a grunt. I know.
You're looking at two grunts right here too, bro.
That's it, dude. Yeah, I'm down. I don't. I am barely in charge of myself, and middle management has never called me. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
So let me ask you this, and Adam, if you have any questions, jump in. I know
by all means. I'm looking over here because he's talking, I'm trying to keep myself on the mic.
That's Adam and I. We have the most strange relationship when you come out to Two for the Road. Here's the crazy shit. Okay, he's the calm one that keeps everything kind of together. I'm the loud one.
Yep.
I do all the booking and shit, but I'm like, I don't know how to explain it.
This is like a marriage.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yep.
And
we're in a comedy civil union.
Yeah, pretty much
legal now.
Because you know, I'm like the husband. I just sit there and let him yabber and bitch and moan and freak the fuck out and whatever. And then half the time when he calls me, I look at my phone and it's like, son of a bitch, I do not want to talk to him right now.
I don't know how many times I've been standing there with Adam and that phone goes off. He's like, motherfuck, hang on. I go, who is it? He goes,
I got important shit, you fucker.
Who is it? It's Alice. Hang on.
You know, and so, you know,
it's the wife.
And then to top it off, you know, we're not sleeping together. So, I mean, it is like a marriage.
You're barely getting anything out of this.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you before this, I don't know what to talk about this. I don't know how to bring you any son.
The hell do I even talk to you? Most people feel that way about me, so it's cool.
Well, it's funny because we are such different people. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how we became friends. I don't, we were stuck in a beer truck together for a while.
They made us work together.
That'll happen.
And somehow, some way, it's worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, not to
Yeah.
brag, but we have a very successful comedy couple of rooms, and
I'm sure the beer has helped from the beginning.
well, fuck, for me it has. You know what I mean?
Run a hose from the back of the truck.
Oh Jesus! You're going to have to listen to the first podcast when we started. Your name comes up because we talk about shorties, we talk about all that, and me passing out on the floor and all whatever. But the thing I was going to ask you, Bob, was how do you do your material? Do you sit down, or are you a guy who actually writes the material, or do you just kind of hash it on stage?
I don't write. I've tried to write stuff out, and it always looks absolutely horrible. Like I've written out a joke that I know has potential and gone, God, that's garbage. Like for whatever reason, when I see it written out, it just looks stupid. Part of that, I think, is because I've learned to become more expressive with my face and my voice. So writing it out just so dry, and I'm just like, no, that's never going to work. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll start with a phrase or sometimes like an actual full premise, and I'll usually just keep back and forth in the head, adding things, taking things away, rearranging it. Maybe this could go here. Maybe if we switch these two things around, does it flow better? And that's big for me is how easy does it sound? You know what I mean? Like how much flow is with the set, is with the bit, and then grader up the set. Because even if it's funny to other people, if I can't say it comfortably, I don't do it because it's not. I think it can be so much better if it comes out more comfortably.
Do you try it on friends unknowingly? I mean, or not you knowingly for you,
knowingly for me, but unknowingly for them. Not so much unknowingly anymore because enough people know I do this. So when I start it, they usually kind of assume that position of, okay, let's see where this goes.
Okay,
is he being serious or what is this?
So how do you pick where you segue a joke, Bob? So you I've seen you act enough, and you are very controlled throughout your set. But one thing I've noticed about you is you do not. What's what I'm looking for?
Ad-lib?
Ad-lib. You don't improv anything. You are by the book on your set. You know what I mean? Like when Adam and I watch your set, we know exactly where you're going. Right. So when you do that, how do you decide, or how do you know where to put that new joke in, where to segue that into?
Well, to begin with, when I start running new stuff at open mic nights, I will almost always put it between two bits that I know are strong.
Okay.
And I try not to work in too much new stuff at one time. I rarely have I ever gone up with 5 minutes of new shit.
Okay.
One, because I'm lazy and I don't write that much. Two,
he's honest.
Yeah. You told me to be honest. Two, because it's still, and this is, I don't know if it's just me. This is the way I think of it. Even in an open mic, you still you have that sort of contract with your audience. You still owe them something.
Right.
And I would, again, if the new stuff doesn't go over, I'm that needy that I still need people to laugh at my stuff. So I will sandwich it between two bits that I know are strong and see how it works. I think it generally helps the bit because you set them up with a laugh and then you hit the new stuff and then if they don't like it, you bring them back with another laugh, hopefully.
That's smart.
So I like to do it that way to start with. And then a lot of times I will try to figure out, and the more you write, the harder it gets, but I will try to figure out a sort of common thread. Like I almost always start my sets. I do the drug court, and from there I talk about anger management. And from there I usually go into the quitting smoking, and then the quitting smoking leads me right into the stuttering EMT bit, which will usually lead me into my vasectomy bit if I'm going to use that, or I can go a couple of different places from there. So it's almost, when I talk about quitting smoking and how bad a shape I was in and how, I almost died, and so then that sort of segues itself to the EMT joke because you talk about calling 911. And then the EMT joke, you're already sort of in that medical van, so you start talking about the vasectomy, and so that leads to that. And then you've sort of established yourself as this sort of goofy, every guy kind of, or I've established myself, I guess, as a sort of goofy, every guy that will see something and probably look at it different than somebody else would, but that person wouldn't necessarily be ashamed or upset to see it the way I see it. You know what I mean? And there, like we talked about it before, there are comics that will take that risk that, people are laughing, and you can see on their face that they don't want to be laughing at this. Like they know they shouldn't, but it was done well enough that it's funny.
No, I think
you better do it well enough.
I think people connect with you really easy, man.
I have a lot of fun. I've been blessed with crowds that I've played in front of and with people that I've worked with, and I include you guys obviously in that. But I've been blessed in this whole thing. I've had so much fun doing this, and I've had relatively few, knock on wood, bad shows. Relatively few. And again, I don't have to do it that often, so the odds are in my favor.
And you've done some traveling on the road. You've done
bit,
you've done some road coming. You obviously came out with us. You did the Gillette run, right?
I did. I played Mingles in Gillette. Had a lot of fun.
How'd that go?
First of all, I got to work with Bob Meadows, who is absolutely amazing. If you guys are listening, if you have the chance to check him out because he's so much fun to work with too. He's amazing.
Great comic, great guy.
Yeah, just a solid person.
One of the most professional comics you can ever work with.
Just an insanely. I mean, but so down to earth. You know what I mean? Like, not when you work with him, he's very laid back. He's not a detail freak. It's like, hey man, we'll handle it the way we handle it, and we'll have a good time with it, and always makes you feel comfortable, and never hesitates to give encouragement to younger comics. I've watched him do it 1,000 times, and he's just amazing. But I played that, and I featured for him, so I did about 20 minutes, and it was the first show of the season, so I mean, we did well. Bob did amazing. Bob took the roof off the joint. He's just so much fun. I think I did pretty well. What's weird is I actually lost them completely on the stump joke. Like, that was the joke that they all kind of sat back and went, nope. And my first thought was like, oh, great. What is it? Like, is there a kid in town who has no arms and legs? I mean, is it a mascot? What the hell did I do? And sometimes you just don't do anything. Sometimes you just decide that that's not funny. So that's what you, but yeah, it was a fun run. We had a blast. Me and Sue went up and hung out with Bob.
Did you go? Night. Did you drive with Bob, or did you?
No,
guys meet up there?
I was going to, but he was leaving really. He had to leave early the next day to get back because he had tickets to a Broncos game or something. And I was like, again, lazy by nature, dude. And I'm weird. I like staying in hotels, so I'll hang out in a hotel for as long as you'll let me.
Did you stay at the Candlewood?
No, we stayed at the Days Inn.
Well, they gave us the Candlewood. I went up with Steve Gastineau. I took my buddy Al Goff with me. Yeah.
And you told me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we talked about this too. But there's that field between it. And Lori Callahan said, "Don't go through the field." And I said, "Why not?" She goes, "I don't know what's in there, honey." You know what I'm saying? But Lori Callahan says so. You listen.
Yes.
And that Mingles is a weird crowd. I thought
they are a little different. I mean, it's the whole area is like mining industry.
And Steve did a fracking joke, and it went south quick. Ooh. It pissed them off, man.
Wow, that's weird. Yeah. See, and you have to do that. Like that's the stuff you don't think of.
Oh, you don't, because like, you're so used to your area.
Yeah, I mean, once you become aware of how this sort of works, and how crowds react to things, that's when you become aware of, okay, well, I don't know if I want to say that because people might think that's racist. I don't know if I want to say that because people will think it's sexist. I don't want to say that because that's a dead baby joke and nobody fucking tells those. But
there's a few that tell those. There's a few.
Those are those sort of things that we all figure out,
right?
But what you don't realize that people who make their living in the oil industry will not like a fracking joke. It just doesn't occur to you because you don't mean anything by it. You're not taking a political stance. You're making a joke, but that's how it is.
And Steve Gastineau was disgusted because when you're driving down there, it's all you see at him are the big pits. And Steve's like, "This is bullshit," and he's mad. And I got up there and I got off probably. I was supposed to do a half hour. I don't know. I did 23, 24 minutes.
Yeah, that's about what I did.
And, no, I did 23 because I cut him a couple minutes short. Steve cut him a little short, too.
Yeah.
Because after that, man, it went to shit.
Yeah.
And the night went crazy after that. My buddy Al Goff, I always said if I became famous or made money, I would hire him. I'd make him wear a muumuu, and I'd call him Alfonso El Gaffo, and make him my spiritual advisor. That's what would be his... In my entourage, that's what he would be.
These are the dreams that comics have.
Oh,
we don't want to help anybody.
Make our friends cross-dress.
Yeah, we're not donating money to charity. We're not doing any of that bullshit. We are not.
I remember when I worked with Moose at Budweiser, he said that if he ever won the lotto, he would move to Vegas, hire a midget, dress him, and then they would get like identical tuxes.
Yeah.
And he would lead the midget down the strip on a leash.
Oh, I didn't. But that changed. I mean, that's not humane.
No.
I would make him get dental work so it looked like my shitty teeth. I would make him look like me, and then I'd get him trained in karate, and I would have an attack midget. It would be the shit. You fuck with me, dude. You get the midget. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
He'd come at your ass.
I would force him to change his name legally to Danny DeVito, and then if I would legally change my name to Arnold Schwarzenegger,
that's what
we would just roll through Vegas.
I would too. It would be amazing. So nowadays, I know you are actually running a room here in Fort Collins.
Yeah, well, we're in Greeley right now, but yeah.
You're in Greeley. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's all the same to us.
Yeah, right. It's Western Colorado.
Out west.
Fuck 'em.
But you're running it's an open mic.
Yes.
But
I've been blessed to be hosting that for about almost 3 years or just over 3 years, one of the two.
And you make the calls, you make the lineups, and all that good stuff.
Yes and no. We're slated to take so many people. We have a time limit, which a lot of the guys doing open mics now have gotten away from that. They've actually been able to book bars for a night, which is it's nice leeway. Personally, I like a little more structure to the show because I think we let our audience off the hook at about 9:30, and they know it. So a lot of times I think that's sort of when they see guys that they're not real into.